War Eagle Auburn family, welcome back, E2C Network family. Thank you for joining us for another edition of E2C Network Live, another post-game Auburn basketball reaction. This one, Auburn falls to the Kentucky Wildcats by the score of 86-54. Quite the thumping, quite the emotions, quite the bit of not fun things to process. Although I will say, shouldn't be too surprised at that. We'll talk about it for just a little bit here. I know that most people are really not wanting to dive into that all too much, and I understand that completely. Hearing me there, I can see now that the internet has decided to cooperate with me at this point. The internet is working about as well as Auburn's basketball did at this point. So let me know if that's a little bit better for you guys. I think we got it. As I said, Auburn basketball falls 54-86. We're going to try to spend just a few minutes here reacting to it, talking about it. I know we don't want to spend a humongous amount of time doing that, but we're going to do at least a little bit of that, talk about some stats and storylines and stuff. So as you come into the stream, do a couple things for us. Smash that like button. Obviously, for the sake of me, not necessarily the team. I know that everybody's a little bit unhappy about that and what happened. But obviously, hit the like button for me and post where you're watching from now, your city, your state, international. That would be a huge help if you could do that for us. Now, I see a lot of familiar faces: Unbeaten Lake, Neil White, David, Chris, Brian, Frank. Good to see you guys. Thanks for being here on the stream. And let me bring this one. See, I can't even. I'm so messed up by what I just saw out there. I don't even have my thing ready to go on here like I normally do. I don't know how to process this, you guys. I think I'm just so numb from hurting during that. Starting off the game in a very raucous environment, you would think that Auburn would have done what that we saw for the last part of the game, the whole part of the game. So I think they started off very well, showed a lot of fight in themselves, but going down 11 at the half is not something that you ever want to do, and can be something that almost, if you don't respond perfectly when you come out of the second half, at Rupp Arena against a Kentucky team that is very much surging right now, is really, really hard to overcome. Yes, Neil, I am going from the broom closet tonight. No, I'm on the road. It's a place I've been before, and I decided to risk using the internet a certain way, and then flipped it back over to the other thing. So we just kind of continue to learn, test, try, and go forward. But we're here. We're making it. I agree with Brian. It is always great to be an Auburn Tiger, regardless of any day. I'd rather be that than a Kentucky Wildcat, than an Alabama Crimson Tide person, any of that, any day of the week. Frank, going to vehemently disagree with you about this notion right here. This just shows how bad this team is. Any team can have a bad day. Every team this season that's been said that they were number one, number two, number three has had just abysmal days. So that's a little bit of hyperbole. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat this. This was ugly. This was disgusting. This was pitiful. This was very depressing. So it's both sides of that conversation. It's not a indictment about this is a bad team, because it's not. But it's a team that obviously has not reached its potential and may not do so by the end of it all. But we'll just continue to watch this team and see how they do. Normal guys here, good to see you. Unbeaten Lake says, every time we play in Rupp, we play like a Tony Barbie coach team. I don't get it. Well, historically, yes. Going back into this game, I think I had it written down here. I'm trying to see if I have it pulled up for us. Not. I thought I did have it written down here, but apparently not. The record is not good for Auburn at Rupp Arena, nor should you expect it to be with the history that they've had, especially against Auburn. Only under Bruce Pearl have we even begun to have some semblance of a reasonable recent record in history under that. So for those of you that say we are a bad team, that we have a bad coach, all that kind of thing, you'd have a much worse record without Coach Pearl at the helm. So there's that angle to consider of it. But there is something about some of these places. It is tough to win. And for Auburn and Rupp Arena, it does not go well. It just doesn't. It really doesn't. It's not good. It's not good at all. Let's see. David just says, ouch. Yes, ouch is yeah. And Beaten Lake says, my disappointment is immeasurable and everything is ruined. This too shall pass, my friend. So we talked a lot about this. We will talk about maybe some stats here in just a second, but I do want to kind of just mention some things at the start here, because I know where everybody else goes with this is, what does this mean for the rest of the season? For the rest of the season, still 2 humongous games, one on the road, one at home, that you really need to get one of the 2 of. And really, we said going into this, one of the 3, to feel comfortable about where you're sitting. Not comfortable meaning that it's a shoe in, but comfortable enough to feel like you have a shot at the postseason, provided you don't look abysmal in the SEC tournament, which based off today, you may feel we may do that. This is definitely not how, if you were going to lose in Rupp Arena. And for most of you, I think if you've been here for the last couple of live streams or videos, whatever, I've been kind of prepping you for this, that I did not feel good about this game in Rupp Arena. Of the 3, I frankly felt more comfortable about playing in the airplane hangar that is Alabama's gymnasium, or on the road or at home with Tennessee, even though those are 2 of the best teams in the nation. There's just something about Rupp Arena this year. And this notion of peaking at the right time, Kentucky's clearly doing that. I think they've won 5 of the last 6 now. I could have that wrong, but they are very much in the driver's seat in terms of momentum, peaking at the right time, even in the SEC. So that's kind of why they find themselves. Not surprising that you run into a buzzsaw like that. Did anybody have any doubts that Oscar Tshiebwe is one of the best, if arguably in the top conversation for the best in college basketball? He's proved that last year. I think there's some debate whether Jabari should have been that, but at the same time, he's truly, truly a talent. It's hard to beat that guy down low. I was very excited, though, to start off this game by the matchup that I saw between Johni Broome and Oscar Tshiebwe. Really competitive to start off with, kind of both, defending each other somewhat well. I think, frankly, for a while there, Johni, from what I remember at the very start of the game, I've blocked most of the game out at this point, looked like he was at least very comfortable with that matchup. Had some success offensively, especially, and defensively. So I really like that matchup. It kind of shows you what we have in Johni Broome, if you didn't know that already. I'm not saying he's Oscar Tshiebwe or he's better or whatever. I'm just saying that it matched up very well, and for at least part of the game. The team did not match up well, but yes. Unbeaten Lake says we're just waiting to peak at the tournament. My gosh, I hope so. I really, truly hope so. That's when we're deciding to peak tonight. When you look at, I'm just looking at the stat sheet right now. There's really, actually, I was looking at our stat sheet. That's why it wasn't impressive. It is more impressive when you come over here. Toppin with 13 points tonight. Reeves killed us with 21 points. Tshiebwe with 22. Wallace, is it Kaysen Wallace? I think he really torched us tonight. 19 points. Yeah. And all their starters the other guy had 6 points, but pretty much their starting 5 is better as it appears right now than our starting 5, just based on numbers alone. What you saw tonight, your leaders stepping up in what ways they could. Johni Broome, Jalen Williams. Wendell, I think tonight extended himself a little bit more than I would have liked him to, but I kind of understand why he did. Maybe a little bit more aggressive down below, trying to kind of drive it in, just force things up there. But you understand the leader that he is, the desire that he has to make things happen for this team, because he is one of the best point guards in the SEC and in the argument for one of the ones in the nation. But I don't think had his best stuff tonight, even though he's in our top group of scorers tonight with 9 points. So you had Jalen Williams led the way with 13 points, Johni Broome with 12, and Wendell Green with 9 tonight. And yeah, you saw Coach Pearl, I think about 4 minutes, kind of take all the starters basically off the floor and just put everybody else in there, the reserves, the guys that we don't see as often. Even Alan Flanagan was out there on the floor a whole lot. if there is one caveat to that, it gives them some more time to work on the things that they need to work on so they can be more productive and better for us at the depth positions. Yeah, so Thomas, we've been talking about this a lot. The officiating has been bad. Wendell had that really bad call or non-call where he just got swiped across the arm and the ref standing right there. I mean, at this point, the officiating, we know it's bad. I'm not, obviously picking on you. I think you know that, but it's not. It's just a belabored point at this point. Auburn is still doing not enough or doing too much of bad things for us to even consider that the refs are a part of this, and especially in this game when you lose by almost 40 points. Your team was the problem, not the refs. That's really all it amounts to tonight. All right, so we'll kind of wash through this. If you got some more comments or questions, keep bringing them up. We'll kind of take them rapid fire here at the end. I know most of you don't really want to dwell on this one too long. So a couple other team stats tonight to look at. Outstanding. Kentucky, 62% from the three-point arc. I don't care if you're Kentucky. I don't care if you're Montana. If you shoot 62% from the three-point arc, you're going to have a good night and a good chance to beat anybody, much less at home, much less Kentucky at Rupp Arena. I guess I should even more is what I should have said there. Just out. They shot 93% from the free throw line. Nobody really had a advantage there in terms of attempts at the free throw line. It was very even. They just made better usage of it. Overall, this team Kentucky's just surging right now, and that's all there is to it. It pains me to admit it. It pains me to say that, but that's what it is. It really is what it is. Tonight, a rebounding, 41-23. Kentucky wins that one heavy there. So you're looking at free throw percentage. They just killed us. They killed us in reboundings. Turnovers, they win that battle barely, 13-12, and that's Auburn, who probably averages about somewhere between 10-8, usually 9-8 turnovers a game, getting a decent amount more than they normally do. So you factor that in, an outstanding shooting percentage overall. I didn't even say they were 50%, 56% from the field. This was just a disaster for Auburn in all aspects of the game. They didn't have their best stuff tonight. Their opponent did at home, and it was Kentucky and Rupp Arena. That's all there really is to it. That's it. Their bench wasn't great. Ours was a little bit better. I'm looking for things here that maybe make any case for Auburn. 22 points in the paint for Auburn, 36 for Kentucky, but it just ain't there. They beat us in blocks. They beat us in 16. They had 16 assists tonight. This is just one of those games where you walk in or out of it and you just kind of accept the beating that you just took. That's all there is to it. Corey says it's not our year. Well, sure. I mean, like, it appears that right now, but I am willing to wait till the end of the year before we say, hey, was just not our year. A lot of basketball still left to play, and I know that seems not true with only 2 regular season games left, a possible 3 or 4 SEC tournament games, and then hopefully at least 1 game in the big dance if we can somehow find our way into there. What I will remind you all of is, and I think it was against Kentucky, that 2019 year, and I'm surprised someone hasn't brought it up yet, but I know everybody's not very optimistic right now. We went into Rupp and got our butts handed to us towards the very end of the year, and then went on our little run in the SEC tournament. Was it the tournament that year? Either way, but in the NCAA tournament. I'm not going to sit here and say that's happening, but sometimes these games can be a wake-up call. One of the great things about this Auburn team early on was the fact that when they faced the adversity, they responded very quickly, usually the next game, very harshly towards an opponent. And they've even done that in the middle of the season too sometimes. Like, I think it was Missouri we murdered, basically. But yeah, so this could be that moment. It could be. Will it? Does it feel that way right now? It doesn't feel that way right now. But there is that possibility that maybe this was the fire that needed to be lit under the Auburn Tigers to push them over the hump moving forward. Brian says he still believes that we'll make the tournament. I still believe we'll make the tournament, just simply because the odds favor us in terms of the opportunities that present itself. So this is why you need to really look for, be thankful for the way we started the season to put ourselves in a position for the way this thing is ending right now. Yes, you cannot play like this on Wednesday, but also you can't have and allow Alabama to play like Kentucky did. Kentucky was just outstanding today. Outstanding. You just got to tip your hat to them. And Alabama may do that too. But you've got to control what you control in this game, upcoming game, like you didn't in this game, and give yourself the best opportunities to capitalize off those few moments when they're on like this, when they're shooting 60% from the 3-point arc. Even then, it's going to be hard to beat anybody, but especially Kentucky at Rupp Arena. All right, we're going to put that one to bed. I know it's a very short reaction stream. I'm on the road anyway. I appreciate you guys being here. If you've got some final comments or questions, drop them in there right now. I'll address them if they're relevant to the conversation here. But a couple of reminders for you. Tomorrow night, our next scheduled live stream, don't miss it. The Auburn Experience Podcast live recording, episode 25 with Austin Scott and myself. We always have a good time there, so don't miss that. Check out the links in the description for ways that you can help support our content. You can be a channel member, a Booster Club member. All those things are appreciated, and they help keep the lights on here and help me be better on the road in terms of equipment I can bring. That's why the lighting's better and stuff like that. All of those things are much appreciated, but we just appreciate you being here, hanging out with us, spending some time being part of our little family within the Auburn family. At least we gave Ole Miss's coach his pink slip after our game. Did he get fired? I missed that. I've been checked out for about a day just because of busyness. Did he really get fired after that? Wow, I just see the headline now. Auburn continues its history of getting coaches fired. Brian says UK was unbeatable today. Just tip your cap and move on. Absolutely. I 100% agree there. Nothing you really can say. They were outstanding. They were pretty much unbeatable tonight, even if you played your best game. And sometimes that just happens. Thank you guys for being here, hanging out with me, spending some time talking about this within the Auburn family spectrum. Hope to see you tomorrow night at 9 Eastern time on the live recording, and stay tuned on the channel for some other videos coming up very soon to round out the month of February. Exciting things coming up as we end February and move into March. Till I talk to you guys again, War Eagles.